Are you struggling to keep your kegerator organized? Do long beverage lines keep tangling you up? And do you feel like your kegerator is so unmanaged that it might just suck you up and eat you? Don't you hate it when that happens? No? Just me? Well, recently I've been hyper annoyed with the tangled mess that has become my kegerator. 3 10-foot beer lines with 3 kegs, maybe even more, and it can quickly become crowded and messy. Also, the tubes are vinyl, which once they get cold, they become stiff and tough to wrangle. If only there was a solution to all these issues. Guess what? There is. And it's called Duotight. And it'll help me go from this to this. If you've never heard of Duotight, here's a quick primer. Duotight fittings are push-in connections for gas or beverage lines and draft systems. They use a double O-ring sealing system that creates a tight seal, and all you need to do is push in the tubing and you're good to go. The beer line you use with Duotight is a smaller EVA or EVA barrier line with a tighter inner diameter, meaning you need less beer length to balance out the pressure in the keg for perfect pours. Duotight products are created by Kegland, the sponsor of this video, and they were gracious enough to send me a bunch of fittings and tubing to help me out with this issue, as well as a few other cool tools that'll show off later. But big thank you to Kegland for helping me out, and if you want to know more about where to find Duotight in your area, head over to kegland.com. And check out their YouTube channel. They have a ton of great videos on their products, and I'll link a few in the description. Alright, let's tackle this beast of a kegerator. First step is to remove everything from the fridge, including the beverage lines. At some point, I'll also tackle the gas lines, which use all the same tubing and connections that I'll be changing over for the beverage side. But really the big issue right now is just those beer lines. Time to say goodbye, vinyl. Up at the top of the tower, I'll remove the taps and pull out the shanks. Kegland sent over some new taps and shanks to use, so I'll be installing those. These nice forward sealing Nuka taps. Ooh, shiny. First, I'll cut the EVABARRIER tubing. EVABARRIER tubing is superior to vinyl, the normal beer line we all know, in many ways. For one, it's PVC, BPA, and plasticizer free. Basically, the potentially bad parts that can be in vinyl that lead to all kinds of health issues. Next is double wall insulated, meaning it has an inner and outer barrier that protects from oxidation, CO2 loss, and microbial growth way better than vinyl. If you've ever left beer in vinyl lines for too long, you'll probably notice its loss of fizz in those first few ounces. This is a lot less likely with EVA. It also doesn't get stiff like vinyl can when it's cold. It stays flexible and easy to manage in the fridge. Lastly, EVA also has a smaller inner diameter, which means more resistance when pouring, and in return, less line length needed to have that perfect pour. Vinyl typically needs about 10-foot lines, but with this 4mm inner diameter EVA, I can cut that down to about 5 to 6 feet, almost half of what was in that tangled mess before. There's a few different sizes of EVA tubing, so mileage may vary, but the important thing is to remember to get the right fittings for your outer diameter. So with 3 pieces cut to about 6 feet, I can now assemble the taps. The beauty of going to Duotight is this becomes incredibly easy. This was always my least favorite part about kegging, due to having to tighten those stupid hose clamps in such a tight place. Now all I have to do is push in the line till it stops, and then just give it a tug to check to make sure it's connected. And if for some reason I mess up, taking off the Duotight connectors is as easy as pushing down on this collar and pulling the tube out. Time to toss out some hose clamps. And these new designs by Kegland are awesome, because the tube goes out at a 90-degree angle, as opposed to the old standard, which sends the tubing up at an angle. This helps when you have low clearance, or if you want to stack up multiple mini kegs. To me, this really shows that Kegland's thinking of it all. Now, if you didn't want to make the full switch, going for all Duotight quick connects, they do sell these little female flare fittings, or FFL, that you can screw onto normal disconnects to convert it to accept EVABARRIER tubing. In fact, they have what feels like a million little accessories and adapters, so definitely check out their full catalog on their site for endless opportunities. And with the new lines in, that pretty much solves the issue. Already things are looking a million times neater. But let's say you have something that's a little more highly carbonated, like a soda or hot water. Then that shorter line length might not work, unless you get one of these awesome flow control disconnects. It attaches just like the other disconnects, but this knob on top allows you to adjust the pressure coming out. So you can set your keg to something like 30 psi, but keep the same line length you have for everything else. Just simply swap out the regular disconnects for the flow control. Or if you want to take your keg on the go, you can just use a small piece of tubing that would normally result in foam overload and use the flow control to dial in the right amount of flow for a perfect pour. and if I was really picky, I could install one of these on every keg and have seriously short lines. But for now, I don't mind a little bit of wiggle room. So let's remind ourselves of what the inside of my Kegerator used to look like compared to how it looks now. This is just the surface of Duotight. They have many different connections and accessories, and you can truly get as creative as you want. And like I said, you don't have to make the full jump to Duotight right away. You can always get these FFL connections to convert your standard disconnects to EVABARRIER lines, which have a ton of benefits. Then slowly upgrade over time. I honestly can't say enough about how much happier I am since making the switch. And Key over at Kegland mentioned that they're actually working on Duotight Gen 2 to be released later this year, so stay tuned for more on that. If you use Duotight or other Kegland products, let me know in the comments your thoughts, or your favorite product of theirs. They're always coming out with new cool stuff. And let me know if you make this upgrade to your draft system. Cheers and happy brewing. And if you're looking for a way to customize your tap handles, then check out this video to make 3 easy and inexpensive custom tap handles.